Good evening. Perek 3, Part 1. Assessments for zehirut. Assessments means evaluations for zehirut, for awareness. So I want first to recap what we did the last time. Last lesson we learned about the tactics of the Yetzirah and that one needs to help himself if he wants Hashem's help. So in Perek 3, we learned that there are two evaluations, two assessments that one needs to make so we can check, we can monitor ourselves in accordance to the concepts of zehirut, of being aware of our deeds. So number one must think and identify the true good that men must choose, and true evil from which men must run away. What does this mean? What is true good? True good is the connection, the closeness with Hashem. Like every good deed brings us closer to Hashem. And true evil is the sins, the averot, and that puts a distance between us and Hashem and takes us further away from Hashem. In the previous perek, the Ramchal defined zehirut as acting with awareness. Here, he specifies two necessary components, two necessary parts of that awareness. Number one, knowledge of what is good and what is evil. We need to know what is good and what is evil, and examinations of one's own action because of that knowledge. So since I know, I have learned what is good, and I see around me people who are doing good, and I hear and I learn what is good, so I know what is good. So now once that I know it, then I have to examine my actions to make sure that my actions are good and not evil. This component is easier to get with the purpose of defining what a proper lifestyle it should be. Obviously, since I learn what is good and I know what is good, obviously this is going to be my lifestyle. I'm not going to learn and not just let it go to waste. I'm going to apply this to my lifestyle. The second evaluation, which one must examine, refers to the deeds that he performs to see if they belong to good or bad or evil according to his decision, right? So I made a decision, I learned what is good, so according to this, then I have to examine my actions, if they're good or evil. This second part, this second component, which must be an honest self-checking of one's deeds, is the greater challenge. Why? Because I am biased now. Yeah, of course, yes, it is good. It might be really in a gray area, but it's okay. It's good, right? So that is really, I have to be very honest with myself if I really need to really have a proper evaluation of my deeds. Then the second examination must be done at the time of performing the deed. At the time I'm doing it, I have to remember about other deeds that I did before. They were similar to what I'm doing now. And at the time, did I do it properly? Did I do that deed properly? Or is that something, if it was good, there's some improvement I can do on it? Or the deed was not good? Then I really should not repeat again. I should not be a repeat offender of the deed. And I have to weigh. We learned about weighing what we're doing. I have to weigh a good deed. It's going to take me to where I want to be close to Hashem. Or if it's a deed that's going to take me away from Hashem. Then the zehirut, being aware of our actions, requires that one remembers the past deeds. That's what I just said. And when I recall a past deed, I can reinforce it, improve it, maybe change part of it. But one thing is for sure, I should not repeat whatever was not good. Sometimes it happens that I know of a deed that I should not really repeat. It's not good. Yeah, and I say to myself, okay, I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to be careful. I'm not going to do it. But that resolve of just saying, I'm not going to do it again, may not necessarily translate into action. Because sometimes the occasion happens, and I'm just doing what I did before. No change. It wasn't good. It wasn't as good as it should be. So what shall I do? What shall I do then? And that I really have to plan. I have to really think about it and plan so that by the time when the occasion does come, I will be prepared and I'll do it the right way. So for example, we all know we need to say tefillah properly with proper concentration, or a beracha has got to be done with proper concentration. And I know it has to be done. But then I'm saying tefillah just like as usual, just going through page after page, turning the pages one after another, and before I know it, I'm done. So what happened? But I said I was going to do better, right? But again, I have to plan. It means I really have to maybe even write it down. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Or do something that's going to remind me I need to be more careful with my tefillah. Or any other act that I'll be doing. I would like to bring you a story. When I heard it, it was really, wow, what a story. To be able to control yourself so much, it's just amazing. So there's a yeshiva in Yerushalayim, and this is a story that is true, happened not too long ago. This yeshiva employs rabbis to teach boys, and there's one rabbi, let's call him Rabbi A, who has been known for many years that he always comes to class on time, and he doesn't waste his time in class. He's really taking care and teaching his students 100%. And everyone knows this. He doesn't leave the classroom, he doesn't go in late, he's just there, and he really gives his attention 100%. So one day, they had been working at this yeshiva for many days. The principal was walking down the hall, and suddenly he sees that this Rabbi A is leaving his classroom with a phone in his hand, and the principal could not help part of the conversation. And Rabbi A is saying on the phone, he's saying to whoever was on the other side, what did you do with the old suits? Okay, can you please send someone to check if they're still there? And that's it. He gets whatever answer it is, closes the phone, and he goes back inside. Principal was very surprised. What's this conversation? And how come Rabbi A left his classroom? This is so unusual. So the principal waited until lunchtime. Then he called the Rabbi A, to his office, and he asked him, "Tell me, what happened? I couldn't help listening to part of your question, of your conversation. So what happened?" And so Rabbi A says like this: "For many years now, I have been saving money for my son's wedding. Every time I just put a little bit of money, not a lot, but a little bit, whatever I can, I put it, and I always put it in the inside pocket of an old jacket that I have. Always put it there. Now my wife told me that she was going to clear up the closets. So when I went into class, I had to come out to call home and find out what happened to the old suits, to the old jacket. And my wife was on the other end. She told me she threw it away. I asked her, please send someone or go yourself and see if they're still there, where you put them. She sent a child. The child came back, says, no, it's nothing. Everything is gone. Okay, that's it. I closed the phone and I went back to class. The principal's looking at him. What? And what happened to the money? Weren't you angry that the money was thrown away with the suits? What did you do? And you went back to class teaching as usual? What happened? The rabbi says no. He says, look, many years ago, before I even got married, when I was still in yeshiva myself, one day the Rosh Yeshiva gave us a class. And he gave us a lesson that I really took to heart. We were learning Musa. We were learning about character, how to fix our character, how to work on our character. And he said to us that you can be working on your character for a long time. Yet, there'll be a time when you're going to have a challenge. And whatever your reaction is going to be at that time of the challenge, that is going to define whether you actually were able to control yourself, and you actually, all this time that you have been learning, have you actually learned to control yourself, or are you going to fail? And so I took it to heart. All this time I have been learning about refining my character. Finally the challenge came. Was I going to get angry? The money is gone. This is money I saved for many years, but it is gone. Was I going to get angry? Was I going to fall into the hands of the Yetzer Hara? No. I controlled myself, and I had to completely take it out of my mind so that I could go back. So I did not get angry, and I had to go back to teach. I had the class to teach. And that's what I did. And who knows? If I have not lived until now, just so to see that if I would be able to succeed or fail this challenge. Well, when I heard this story, it's just unbelievable. But that shows the power of someone who really wants to change his character, because this is what it's all about controlling ourselves and be in control of ourselves and not allowing the zehirut to fail us. So um, and obviously the Ramchal says that one, at the time when we're going through this challenge, at the time as we are reacting to whatever the situation is, we don't know yet if we are successful or failing this challenge, and we only realize that only afterwards. When we think back as to what happened, that's when we realize that we actually failed or we succeeded in the challenge. In the Talmud it says, Noach lo la'adam shelo nivra yoter mishenivra. In the Talmud it says, it would have been more pleasant for a person not to have been created than to have been created. This is a very strong statement. And the meaning is like this. The entire purpose of creation was to benefit man, meaning that a person does not appreciate the value of his having been created. The Talmud it says, Bishvili nivra ha'olam. The world has been created for me, for each and every one of us. That's why Hashem created this beautiful, wonderful world. For me. That's why I've been created. For me to use this world to get close to Hashem. But unfortunately, we are being preoccupied by temptation and desires. So it's difficult to comprehend, to understand the goodness of this situation, to understand the goodness that Hashem did with us, that He created us. But now that Hashem has created us, the Ramchal says that in this case, then we have got to search and look into our deeds. Hashem has put so much faith in each and every one of us. He has created each individual and given him all he needs to succeed, his talents and intelligence and everything else that he needs in life to succeed and to overcome his challenges. And that is what we don't appreciate by being created. Hashem has invested so much in us. How do we know that? We learn this from Moshe Rabbeinu. We learn in Devarim that Moshe said to Hashem, Moshe was actually going back in time. And Moshe said that when Hashem told Moshe to choose Shoftim, judges, to help him, Moshe was actually afraid. Moshe said, Hashem has blessed me with so many talents. What for? To lead Bnei Israel, to take care of them, to teach them, to judge them, to be there for them. So if Hashem is telling me to choose judges, that means that I will not be using my talents fully, to full capacity. And because of that, Moshe was worried that he will be punished. He would be punished for not using his talents to full capacity. Whoa, this is Moshe we're talking about. Moshe, who is the only Navi who got so close to Hashem. Lo kam be'Israel ke Moshe. There was never another Navi like Moshe. So, wow, how can Moshe think that way? But that is the truth, because Hashem has expectations. Hashem had to calm him down and explain to him, yes, I know you are using your talents, but I still want you to have judges to help you. So when Hashem creates a person, Hashem has expectations, and part of those expectations is avodat hamidot, refining of character, correcting our ways. So the Ramchal advises us to check our needs, to check our midot frequently. Some people do it every day, since it requires constant effort. And that is the medicine against the tactics of the Yetzer Hara. And that is the secret of success of wise men. So may Hashem help us to elevate ourselves and fulfill our duties. May He bless us with zehirut, nachat, parnasa tova, bracha, tzlacha, shidduchim, zugiyut, and may He listen to our tefillot letova.